Okay, hello everybody. This is my presentation of my floating garden prototype. I call it a floating food forest. It's not exactly super detailed because it's made out of construction paper, but here's a side view of it. It's made out of blue 55-gallon barrels, which have a lip at the top and bottom, which can be drilled through and connected with some sort of tethering rope, like some baling twine or some sort of other strong connector. Down here you can see these are like makeshift trees that grow through the substrate. Like this is all soil, this is pallets, this is cardboard. I'll go through the other layers in a minute. This is also blue barrel, but I made it yellow just to signify that these are half barrels, and the main purpose of this isn't to float, it's to hold back the soil around the edges. Okay, so there you have it. You got little fishies swimming around on the roots. You got the barrels, you got the upper half barrels for the soil containment, you got the pallets, which are connected to each other and to the barrels themselves, cardboard, soil, and plants. Okay, so here we go, bottom layer. We got this is just to indicate where the roots are coming through the barrels and spreading all throughout. All the water column, the little fishes are finding their way through the roots and enjoying that. Level 1 is, this is the bottom of the barrels. I've indicated that there's an opening at the base of each barrel. The reason I do that is so that I can connect each one of these, which is a air pipe, probably PVC air pipe. And these have an air pipe going into each one of these barrels and connecting into the barrels beside them. And so this is included so that I can raise and lower the height of the air column, and therefore raise and lower the height of the island in the water body and the water column. So yeah, even if there's not a whole lot of weight to be held, you can still fill this up with a large amount of water and just a little bit of air, and that still gives a good amount of stability to the floating island, to the floating structure. So all right, level 2 here. So we got the tops of the barrels, they're all sealed up. They're a bunch of all the barrels are like a cup, open at the bottom and closed at the top so you can trap air. These indicate how much of the barrel's edge is left intact. So here it's just sort of like a half barrel. They're all cut in half, and then this one's more like a quarter barrel. They have all the base intact, but the wall is intact here, but not here, so that all the soil that's in here can push up against its edge and not spill out into the water. Now you're still left with the gaps in between the barrels. They're kind of exaggerated here, but you can still see this is where the tree trunks are coming through. So not all of them need to be open, but the ones that you want the roots to go through obviously do. And so here's a bunch of cardboard or maybe old carpeting, and you can still get the holes cut through so that the bigger roots can find their way. So now you've got the barrel's edges, the barrels, and the cardboard. Next level is the plastic pallets. Now the reason I include the plastic pallets is they're going to be attached to one another and also to the edges of all the barrels. And so when all the soil falls on top, it'll sort of interlock all the soil into its spaces and stop it from wanting to spread out so much. And then as the roots grow through, it'll interlock and connect all those plastic bits together, and that provides an anchoring point. So when I drill in through here to connect maybe like an eye bolt, something that I can attach several anchors to along the edges, so I can chain it to the shoreline or to the floor or the bottom of the lake, this will interconnect and hold the whole thing together. So now that just leaves us with the soil placed on top and our fruit bushes or fruit trees. The reason I call it a food forest is because it won't just be planted with 2 or 3 types, it'll be planted with 7 or more layers of canopy, which is where the name food forest comes from. It imitates all the natural levels of canopy in a natural forest, and so you're left with a lot less weeding to do, a lot less struggle, really. All the deep-rooted plants, like these ones, can draw up moisture from all the roots from the water column beneath, and then all the shallow rooted stuff that may be beside it or around it can draw off the moisture brought up by the larger plants. And so now if this ever has too much rain, it just keeps floating up higher. You know, it always finds its buoyancy, and it can never dry out because it's always on an unlimited source of fresh water. That being said, it could also be applied to saltwater conditions if these were mangroves and some freshwater species on top, and then the mangrove roots can handle the salt water, as well as you can attach coral reef or bits of different coral along the bottom, and that could be a floating coral reef set out into deep ocean water, and potentially doing a lot of good out in the middle of nowhere, where normally plants and coral and all that kind of stuff couldn't normally grow. Alright, so that gives you the floating island presentation. Please give me any questions you may have, and thanks for watching.